speech is for Speech Class 201, Speech Analysis Speech on Paul Harvey, What is a Policeman? For some, public speaking can take years of practice and getting used to. It takes time to develop the skill and to feel comfortable speaking in the public. For others, it just comes naturally. For one such person, Paul Harvey, that's what it was like for him. Paul Harvey Arndt, or what we all know as Paul Harvey, was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, September 14, 1918, and died February 28, 2009, at the age of 90. His whole life was revolved around public speaking, and he was a famous radio newscaster. As a child, he built radio receivers. When he was 14 and in high school, he was inspired to work in radio. A teacher said that he had a distinctive voice, which got him on his career path. He worked at different radio stations in high school and throughout college, and then after college, moved to Chicago and worked for the ABC affiliate radio station, WENR. That's where he had his news and comments section weekly and every morning and in mid-afternoons, and his famous Rest of the Story segments. Paul Harvey News carried on 1,200 radio stations and had an average of 24 million viewers weekly. He also charged $30,000 to give a public speech. Despite that, Paul Harvey had a strong connection to law enforcement, mainly because at the age of 3, his father was a police officer and was murdered off duty by 3 robbers, and was later identified and caught by a detective that was with him during the incident and survived. With that connection, he felt a strong, probably obligation to law enforcement, you would say. He became an honorary member of the Indiana State Troopers, and had respect came from the fact that his father was killed. So he wanted to meet the law enforcement officers, learn from them. He gave them news stories, and then actually got to know different law enforcement officers. That is where his speech, What is a Policeman, came about. After getting to know what a law enforcement officer truly is, he wanted to do a speech and dedicate it to his father. The speech, What is a Policeman, is a 3-minute and 4-second long speech. It's a speech to inform because it has all the facts on what policemen truly go through, the contrast of what they're expected to do and what they always do. Parts of his speech go as follows, an actual excerpt from his speech. What is the policeman? He of all men is once the most wanted and most unwanted, a strangely nameless creature who asserted his face and pig or worse behind his back. Another true statement in his speech was, he must whip 2 men twice his size and half his age without soiling his uniform and without being brutal. You hit him, he's a coward. If he hits you, he's a bully. Paul Harvey closed his speech with a true factual statement. A policeman must be a minister, a social worker, a diplomat, a tough guy, a gentleman, and of course a genius, for he has to feed a family on a policeman's salary. Despite all this, policemen know this is what it's really like. This speech, he worked with officers to learn the true life of what they go through. In delivering his speech, he used all of his tactics that he does every day. Of course, the volume was perfect, pitch, tone, everything was there in his speech. He also used what he is known for and famous, his dramatic pauses. That's what he made the speech. That's what gets the audience, that grabbed the audience's attention. And he gave this speech mainly to different law enforcement officers and to their families. That was what the audience was geared towards. But of course, I believe that this speech should be given to everyone. I believe that even though, yes, it's an informative speech, with all those facts, it can also be persuasive. I encourage everyone to listen to this speech And maybe you might get a different respect for officers and realize what they truly go through. Paul Harvey understood this. He understood what officers go through. He presented this speech, and it's a speech that should be given and looked at throughout anyone's life to know what an officer truly goes through. Thank you.